Greetings and welcome to my first web show. Now this isn't like one of those other shows where the guys go on about current events they saw on Yahoo, whatnot. Granted, I'll probably throw some in from here and there. Most of it is just going to be funny-ass stories that, dear God, have actually happened to me and my family and people I've known. But to give you a little hint into who I am, this first video is mostly just explaining the family I come from. Now, I would like you to please try to listen to the entire thing. I promise you'll either be barfing or pissing your pants by the end of it. Okay? Now, we'll start with me. I'm 30-some years old, wife, kids. I have Asperger's. It basically boils down to, which, if you don't know what it is the high functioning form of autism. It boils down to high IQ, high verbal skills, low social skills, the inability to shut my fucking mouth when I need to, or as I like to just refer to myself, an asshole never stops talking. Trust me, you'll still come to think it too. Now, let's start at the beginning here. You've got my parents. Yeah, my dad started dating my mom, found out she was pregnant, and because my dad is horrible at math, they got married. Take that how you will. Not long after, they got divorced. Got back to for one more night together, and here I am. Thank you for, hot one last time sex that I don't even know about. So then we've got my family. I'll start with my mother's side first, because it's really much quicker when you just realize that, my grandmother was a prostitute who abandoned my mother and aunt when they were, teenagers. And don't know much about the rest of the family besides the fact that my grandfather on that side was pure-blooded German, 7 foot tall, and a glass blower. That's all I know. And then he moved here during World War II. Then you've got my dad's side of the family, and my stepmother's family. Whew. Let's just say, in my family, we all have names, and then we have what we're called. You've got my dad, who's Butch. You got my grandfather, who's Harry, my grandma Dot, my aunt Gert, my uncle Guru. Then you got my stepmother's family. You gotta love these people. My stepmother, great woman, her family, great people, but they are the epitome of redneck. You've got Uncle Duck, Aunt Midget, Aunt Beaky, Aunt Mimi, Uncle Dickie, and everybody's favorite, Uncle Fuck Bubble. Now, I swear to God, that is his actual nickname. Uncle Fuck Bubble. I don't know how it started. I just know when I was 2 or 3, my grandmother was making me call him, Uncle Bad Word Bubble. Uncle Fuck Bubble is a good guy. But that man is an Olympian-class drinker. This man has been so drunk, he hit on a bar stool. I don't mean the empty space above it. I mean the actual bar stool itself. He got thrown out of the bar when he tried to pick her up and take her home. I have also seen this man perform a few gymnastics that, Mary Lou Retton would be proud of. He got up from the picnic table at our family campout, tripped, fell onto the fire, rolled across it, came up the fire pit, up-rolled and landed on the picnic table, and picked up somebody else's beer and continued drinking. That is talent! That takes years of practice! As you can notice, my family don't get together without a can. We just don't. And let me tell you, bad things happen when you mix alcohol with my family. You do not want to fall asleep at a family camp out. Your own relatives will teabag you. Cameraman, stop laughing. You are ruining my web show. Your stoner ass will get to sit on the couch later when I get a different cameraman. Anyway. Yes, that will be my stoner redneck man behind the camera right now. You'll eventually see him. He's a goofy looking fuck that looks like, Yeti with a bad shave job. But anyway, then there's things like, to explain what kind of family I come from, I love these people to death, but oh dear God. And another one of these family campouts. A lot of bad things happen at these family campouts, so I'll get to more on that later. My dad and my stepmother's sister are arguing. Just going at it in the middle of this family camp out. It's about 9 o'clock at night. We're sitting around the fire drinking. Apparently my dad got sick of her lip. So he decides to fix the problem in the best possible diplomatic solution. He drops his pants, whips out his dick, and smacks her across the face with it. Which is talent again when your dick is only this big. I got to see this. This is what every 15-year-old needs. Now, my summer I was 14 or so was a bad year for this camping. Did I mention my grandmother being a prostitute? Yeah, my father's the one who let me know on this when I was 14. And in the same conversation, had to tell me how he misses being married to my mother, and it's his biggest regret that, he left her, because she can do things in bed that no other woman can. No 14-year-old needs to know this shit! Okay? Grandma's a hooker, a bartender with extra services. Abandoned my mom because John got her pregnant. My earliest memories of this woman are her showing up to visit us when I was 5. She stole my brother's Spider-Man action figure, which was about this big, put it in her luggage, and claimed he climbed in there and rode on the train home. I'm proud of my grandma. I know there ain't no train ride home. She sends my mother Christmas cards, written in crayon, addressed to the wrong person. That same year, she sent my brother and I this giant, huge, refrigerator box filled with clothes that were all for little girls. Yeah, I had an interesting childhood. My mother wanted a little girl, got 2 boys. Guess who learned to cook, clean, bake, sew, suck a cock? No, wait, never mind that one. I just heard that one a lot. My mother tended to have a lot of, let's just say, companions over the years. I refer to her as my semi-single mother. Mom, I love you to death. I'm not saying you're a whore or anything of that sort. But really, no child has that many uncles. Then again, you are the same woman who once accused me of being gay at the dinner table in the middle of supper. And your reasoning was that I was 16 years old and still a virgin. By the time you were my age, you were, making out with half the football team under the bleachers. Again, something I didn't need to know. And why did you not like the response of, so that's why you were pregnant before you graduated from high school, Mom? Was it really necessary to throw the colander at my head? Really? But anyway, I digress. I come from a very big family of rednecks, perverts. Don't even ask. And, well, they may not be the most sophisticated bunch, but they're the greatest people you'll ever meet. They'll give you the shirt off their back and some of the skin that's attached to it. They'll work themselves till they bleed for you. I love my family, don't get me wrong. I will tell you, however, some horrible, horrible stories about them. It's just going to happen. But just keep in mind they are good people. And some of them are very intelligent. They just aren't very learned. If you want to call it that way. I am the black sheep of my family because my idea of reading does not involve a toilet in a Popular Mechanics magazine. It involves a toilet in a Stephen King book. Apples and oranges, but we still the same cart. I get a lot of my stuff from my father. We don't get along very well. He's always right. I'm never wrong. Doesn't go well. But regardless, how can you argue with a man who wants to jump naked over a bonfire? Whew, that was a horrible stench, I'll tell you that right there. But anyway, more of these shows will go on. I'll have guest stars. We'll have more talks about my family. I've got some great stories that just trust me you want to see. And they're not all about my family. Some of them are about me. Matter of fact, just to make up for, having already told stories about the family around the campfire, I'll tell my stepmother's favorite story about me. When I was 3, my brother and I used to go to gymnastics. Of course, they put me, who was a fat kid, on, learning somersaults and rolling, and I could do the balance beam because I was rounded. My weight didn't go either way. Well, my brother convinced me there was no bathroom at the gymnastics place. So one day we're there to pick him up. My dad, my stepmother, they leave me in the car and go inside to get him. Well, it's taken a while, and I have got to take the biggest shit of my 3-year-old life. I felt the goddamn turtlehead poking. It was like a goddamn, fat boy Harley trying to ride itself out my ass. And as far as I knew, there was no bathroom. So I took the moist towelettes from the glove box. I stepped outside the car and I shit in the middle of the parking lot. I am 30 years old, and my stepmother still uses that to win arguments. No matter what I'll say to her, We could be arguing about, the goddamn atom bombs, but the ball on our heads. We're like, oh yeah, this comes from the guy who shit in the parking lot. Anyway, you all have a nice night. We'll try this again some other time. See you later.